Alrighty, so I'll just quickly explain the run real quick. So this is Driver 2, but not as you know it. So this is REDRIVER 2, or REDRIVER 2. This is a PC port that was made via reverse engineering by a member of the driver community known as Soapy. Essentially, what he has done is made Driver 2 playable. Driver 2 was already playable from the start when it released back in 2000 on the PlayStation 1. However, it had multiple frame rate issues constantly, and the game would not run any more than between, I don't know, maybe 10 to maybe 20 FPS, 25 at a push. Basically, never run at 30 like it was supposed to. And with this PC port, you're able to play the game at 30 FPS. Unfortunately, you do have to provide your own copy of the game to play it. But again, I'm sure again, that's up to you on how you go about doing that. But yeah, so you're able to now play it thanks to this reverse engineering, which is really, really good. The category we're going to be doing is the Complete Chicago. This is the warpless category. I'll explain the warp in a second, but for now, if we're ready on time, I'll get us right into the first mission. So if we're ready to go on time, I'll give you guys a countdown. Let's go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so what's changed between the original Driver 2 and this one? Well, first of all, like I said, 30 FPS made it more playable. Not only that, you may notice this Driver 1 music. That's because this game allows for a music swap. So, there's a driver file that you can get hold of, an audio file. There'll be members of the community, myself can provide it if needs be. But basically, if you tell the game, if you put the audio piece in the right... Yeah, if you put the audio piece in the correct folder, the game's music will switch from Driver 2's music to Driver 1. And surprisingly, for me personally, I've thought that Driver 1's music is better than Driver 2, but that's just me. So I've always played with it on, which is why it may seem a bit confusing. Like, why is the Driver 1 music playing in Driver 2? That's why. Other things to mention about this game, as well as that. So we have widescreen support. Obviously, the original game did as well, but the game has support of up to 1080. I do believe it won't go any higher than that yet, but it has support of up to 1080p, which is really, really good. We also have... Ooh, what was the other bits? We have a autosave system, which makes it even better. So after every mission, you no longer have to save. The game does it for you, which is really, really good. And also, the difficulty has been toned down a bit. So if you thought the original Driver 2 game was difficult, yeah. If you thought the original Driver 2 game was difficult, then it is a lot easier here on the easiest difficulty. Also, it's worth noting that playing without audio and movie files is quicker, so I don't have them installed on here. But you'll notice as well, straight off the bat, that another new option that is in this game as well, another new feature, is the ability to skip in-game cutscenes. So as soon as a game starts playing it in-game, you can't skip that. In the PS1 version, you're only able to skip the, I guess, stop motion or whatever they are, I think the stop motion, I don't know. But, you know, in-game films, let's put it that way. Normally you can just spam X and you spam your way through them and get rid of them. But in this game, you're able to skip them and also skip the in-game cutscenes. All you've got to do is, once you're watching a cutscene, just pause it, press skip cutscene, and posh. Dead easy. Which is really useful as well. And because of these unique tricks as well, it's actually made the game a lot faster. So, for context, the Driver 2 game on the PS1. Now, if I'm going to use console for comparison here as like the best comparison. So, Driver 2 on the PS1, like I said, it has a lot of frame rate issues and did when it released back in 2000. But the other thing to note as well is that when it released back in 2000, it was around the time that the PS2 was coming out, so it did sell well. Not as well as the first Driver game, unsurprisingly. But really, I think this game, and a lot of people in the community also think the same, which is if this game had waited another year, this would have released on the PS2 and would have actually played really well. which is a shame, really. But I'm still glad we managed to get this, to be honest. So the main difference, like the major differences, with everything I mentioned, like the autosave system, the autosave system, the 30 FPS, the skipping in-game cutscenes, all of this stuff, provides time save that can save minutes over the shortest of categories. So, for example, complete Chicago. So each city, which is Chicago, Havana, Las Vegas, and Rio, all have their own categories. So complete Chicago, complete Havana, complete Vegas, complete Rio. Excuse me. They all have their own categories. And the one thing to mention is how much this saves. So Chicago is the shortest category, coming in at 22.5 minutes, or yeah, 22 and a bit minutes, 23 minutes on the PS1 version. On PC, this comes in at just under 15 minutes. The record is 14 minutes, which has been set by Survivor. Also, on the PC version, you also have this interesting little glitch here, which basically allows you to, well, long story short, it allows you to just, yeah, you can skip having to get on the platform. Normally, you're supposed to get out of the car and go onto the platform, but in this version, I think something went wrong, to be fair. But we used that to beat that mission quicker. Only slightly quicker, but we're able to beat it a bit faster. It's also worth noting as well, so overall, so this game on PS1, to beat the full game from start to finish, the record on emulator I think is 2:10, 2:11, something like that. On console, which is set by myself, it's 2 hours 21 minutes. On PC, the record has been brought down. It is a 1:17:43. Yes, not kidding. That's how fast the PC version is compared to PS1. Over an hour faster. Obviously, the times that we're talking about here, by the way, the PS1 version needs to be brought down because the run was quite bad. I thought it was done during a marathon as well, and I was half asleep. So yeah, I've got excuses for why that run's not as good and why it's as slow as it is. But even on a console, you could probably get it up to about, I don't know, maybe 2 hour 10 or something. Also, so we can actually do a funny little thing here, which can do it. Yeah, can do it there, okay. Cool. So basically what we did there was we basically can jump ahead right at the last minute. Also, we have our first taste of police action. And like I said, they are less aggressive. These cops are still aggressive. They're just less aggressive. So they will nudge, they will still destroy cars, things like that. But we should be fine, I'm hoping. Me personally, this is where things get a bit more tricky. Oh, hello. Oh, if I want to make life easier for myself, I can get a fresh car. Do you like a fresh car? What are you on about? Basically, the car that I'm driving now is a bit battered. I can drive this all the way to the end, it's fine. But if I want to make life easier for myself, I can actually just steal another car. So cars in this game hang on to felony. Now, funny enough, here's a good time for a little fun fact. So, in Driver 2, originally, one of the original plans was... also, we've got robots, that's fun. So, in the original Driver 2, so in the beta, I believe, one of the original features was if you stole a car in the beta version, you were seen by police, then you got out the car, Tanner would actually take a little bit of felony with him, that sort of thing. But if you... well, in the final version, this feature was not implemented. However, thanks to the driver community, they've implemented a lot of things into this game. For example, there's mods that include beta missions. For example, 3 missions that were included in the game. There was one that took place after Kane's compound, which involved you getting back to Jones. This mission is cut in the final version of the game. Like I said, there is a there is a mod. I can't remember who it is that makes it, but it's like an alt mission mod pack. So basically, he's changed all the missions. So like for example, on the first mission, you don't get any cops at all. But in this mod for the game, you can do that. There's also mods that are going about as well for this game, which involve changing like half the missions and things like that, and even introducing or trying to introduce new maps. Yeah, so worth mentioning as well, there's a guy on YouTube known as Vortex Story who does a lot of driver content, Driver 2, Driver 1 content, and is a great YouTuber. I would highly recommend giving him a watch. So it is really, really good. But yeah, so overall, as a whole, like I said, there's a fair bit to it. Yeah, it's probably worth mentioning at this point the felony meter, by the way. So the felony meter obviously will always start empty on every mission, of course, unless you've already got police on you, like we had in the last mission. However, the more felony, it's worth noting, the more felony you have, so nice try, Jericho. The more felony you have, the more aggressive the police get, and you start getting roadblocks spawn and things like that. When you're at max felony, the police are brutal. Like, they come at you really hard, and yeah, it's not fun, trust me. Also, it's worth noting as well, whilst we're on this mission, it's this is definitely a good time to mention this. So, REDRIVER 2 or REDRIVER 2 introduced a brand new concept, which is custom live routes. So basically, when this game was being reverse engineered, one of the things that the community wanted the ability to do was they wanted the ability to create their own chase patterns to make the game as random as possible, rather than relying on the same routes. And yeah, so if you play the original game, you'll notice that you'll always have like a few certain patterns and things like that. This game allows you to have several custom patterns that the community has driven, and if you're able to make some yourself, you can do and implement your own. However, for speedrun purposes, we've said that they're not allowed because of the fact that you can get some routes which are very short, some that are very long. Also, this is a mission that I got stuck on a lot as when I was a kid, Kane's Compound. So yeah, the more you know. But honestly, it's quite easy. There is actually a shortcut that you can use in this mission, which, to my knowledge, is not too consistent. But basically, when we get a van's going to be chasing us in a minute, what you can actually do is you can actually get clipped through the trucks, which are down this end here. So where them trucks are, you can actually get clipped and pushed beyond the other side. Basically, that is exactly where the finish is. But obviously, for safe things, I don't really do it because it's not too consistent. Excuse me. Yeah, it's not too consistent. Also, yeah, attack of the killer vans. Oh no. So when I was a kid, this took me absolutely ages to find out where this mission started and everything. But yeah, so you can get this truck and he follows you all the way back. Luckily, it shouldn't take us too long. But yeah, there's like I said, there's quite a fair bit to this game compared to the original PlayStation 1 release. This game never got an official PC release, so the community went, sod it. Well, you know, Ubisoft and Reflections ain't going to be making a Driver 2 PC port. Why not reverse engineer it? You know, why not? Why not reverse engineer the damn thing? Like, yeah, why not? Also, we're on the final mission of Chicago. So this is leaving Chicago. So for the context of the missions, we're chasing down a guy called Pink Lenny, who is like the main bad guy of the film, bad guy of the game, sorry. And he works for a guy called Vasquez. Vasquez and another man known as Kane have opposing gangs. Yeah, it does quite well, to be honest, as a plot, personally. I think it's got more of a proper storyline than the first game has. Not only that, this is the first of the driver games that has a corresponding storyline. So what I mean by that is the story continues in Driver 3 and in Driver San Francisco, the last driver game to be made. We're not going to include Speedboat Paradise because... and also we're not going to include Driver Parallel Lines and Driver 76 because they have their own storyline. So yeah, the more you know. But yeah, like I said, so it never got an official PC release, Driver 2, so this is the closest we're getting, really, to an official PC release. But I can just say as well that the community did a damn good job, you know, creating such a masterpiece, to be honest. And yes, I know it's not really Soapy's game or anything like that, but the fact they were able to reverse engineer this game was fantastic. Whilst we're on the subject of reverse engineering this game, there's actually a online, I think it's a free online program you can play, or play it in your browser, which is called OpenDriver. Now, OpenDriver allows you to really go haywire. It's basically like a fully modifiable game from start to finish. So, for example, modders have been able to mod in the cars from Driver 1 with engine sounds in Driver 2 and drive about in it. Because apparently it's really easy to do so. So, yeah, there you go. The more you know. But yeah, also time is going to be coming up quite shortly. So be ready on time. Gotta make sure that I avoid the cars. It's also worth noting one other thing as well, which is the weather. I'll get to that in a second, but now let's finish this run out. So time's going to go up very shortly. And time. That's time there. So that's time there, all done and dusted. But what I was mentioning was the weather effects. So in this game originally, you could only pick... So you could pick the 4 cities, you could choose to drive each of the cities at day and night. This was also a feature in Driver 1, bar Los Angeles for some reason. You could only drive it at night, you couldn't drive LA during the day. But in Driver 2, you're able to play Chicago, Havana, Las Vegas, and Rio, drive them at day or night. A new feature that got implemented in this version was the ability to go into take a ride mode. So say, for example, okay, you know, I'm going to play this. But notice how you got condition now. So now you can play it with clear, so that's dry weather. You can play it where it's raining, or you can play it when it's wet. And this makes things quite interesting. So for example, if I can quickly show you. So that's it in dry. You can notice how dry it is. When it's wet, or when it's raining, you can see now cars skidding a bit, and you can hear it raining. You can see it raining as well. And finally, when it's wet. So it's already wet now. Not only that, as well, is they've also implemented not just a day and night cycle now. Sorry, you can right in the original game you could only drive during the day or drive at night. That was it. But in this one, you can actually choose to drive at day, dusk, night, or dawn. If you start at dawn, it becomes daytime. If you start at dusk, it becomes nighttime. So as you're driving about, then yeah. So you're able to play it now and like that sort of thing, and obviously it goes nighttime. And this is available for every single one that's in the game. There is driving games as well, so you have a quick chase, quick getaway, gate racing. There's multiple different things that you can do in this game aside from the story. But yeah, feel free to give it a try. It is free to pick up. However, it is noted that to play this game on PC, to play REDRIVER 2, REDRIVER 2, you must provide your own game files, which can... There's a online tutorial that Vortex Story, and I believe it is on the GitHub page that Soapy has provided. You can find the instructions on how to install it there. Would recommend following it. It's very simple, very easy to do. Providing you follow the steps. And yeah, that's going to be all from Driver 2. I'm going to quickly pass it back over to the host. And yeah, when we come back, we'll get the next run underway. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget that you can go to speedgaming.org/NoKidHungry to get links to the schedule, to the donation link, to the incentives, and everything that you want to know about the event. And we'll be back in just a moment for the next game in the BPG 13's block.